first of all, how old you are, how you got introduced to the business, and then we'll just go from there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 25 years old. Been with Family First Life full time for pushing 15 months now. And previously, I was a photographer. Had a good buddy of mine I grew up playing basketball with that had been in the business, and he'd been nagging on me a little bit to get in, start doing what he's doing. And it took him about 6 months. It took him selling 30 grand in 1 month, showing me his bank statements. And I said, let's do it. Went to convention in Vegas in February and hit the ground running since full time.
Okay. What'd you take away from Vegas that kind of that changed your perspective or changed kind of your approach to this business?
I mean, pretty straightforward, just meeting a lot of people like me, crushing it. And it just made everything more real. I mean, seeing people of all sorts coming from all different places, and crushing it, making real money. And I didn't realize how much of a true business this is. And I just wanted a piece of it.
Okay. So let's jump into that. You said true business this is. What was your agency doing when we had you on in November?
Probably about 75,000.
Okay. What'd you do last month?
167.
Okay. So 75 to 167, you doubled basically in 4 months. What did you do from November to now that allowed you to double? Because if everybody can double every 4 months, then you essentially quadruple on an annual basis, and your business, like you said, is a kind of a force to be reckoned with. So what are some of the things that you implemented and that you did in that 4 month time to allow for that growth?
Right. So Sean has made this joke a couple of times of some of us want to be in the Hall of Fame for savings account, yep. Checking account. And that was me. I mean, I was selling, actually for a good time there between 60 to 70,000 a month issue paid, and just wasn't doing anything with it. Just letting it sit there. Obviously that's a nice feeling to have, right? But just started putting it back into business. I've got two full-time staff members now, one part-time, and just finally starting to, I guess, not be selfish with everything. War market coming out of the blue finally, and it's kind of how we started getting the ball rolling. Started with the staff.
Okay, you said 2 recruiters, or?
Yeah, well, 2.5.
2.5 recruiters. Okay, yeah. So walk me. So you have 2 recruiters. So walk me through kind of what they do, how that impacts your business, or how you kind of work hand in hand with your recruiters. Because a lot of people think about recruiters and they think that they get a recruiter and they can just hand it off, or they're even afraid to approach that and dump that money, not dump, but put that money into the business. So I guess first talk about the mindset and your thought process behind that decision, and then how you work with your recruiters to help facilitate and build your business.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, I guess I got 2 recruiters, and one is, social media marketing. And that was where we started, was getting the platform built, with our Facebook page, Instagram page, and getting graphics made, blown out for new agents, making new sales, passing their state tests, record weekly submits, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, it only took a month or 2 of that for my war market to really start coming. And then on top of that, one full-time, just specifically recruiter, another part-time, and putting money back into programs that get us, people to reach out to, Career Builder, LinkedIn, ZipRecruiter, whatever it is, Facebook job post, boosting that, and then also headhunting, following people on social media, sending them a message, have you ever thought about doing sales, whatever, and working with them as far as, being on the same page is important with having the structure down, and it did take a while, and we're looking, we should double again by June with what we got going through. And it was difficult for a long time for the simple fact that it's such delayed gratification. I'm sitting here busting my butt selling all this insurance, and it's almost like feeling like I'm not getting anywhere because I'm getting all these big deposits. Right, I'm getting all these big deposits, I'm putting them back in, and we're finally starting to see X amount going through court, through contracting, through the class. And it took a couple months. I've had these guys working full time for, I think, 2 full months now. We're finally starting to see it happen. And that is difficult for a little bit, but.
And honestly, that's quick. 60 days. We typically tell people 90 days. And that's one of the things that I struggle with, that start and stop, because I got used to the instant gratification too. So when I didn't see the same thing on the recruiting side, I would just stop, not realizing, and even though I heard it, not realizing that it truly does take 90 days. So, I mean, you've been able to do it in 60. And I think a large part of that is social media and warm market, which a lot of people kind of overlook. So let's talk about that for a second. Social media. How do you know if it's working? Because I mean, throughout that 30 days, were they liking your posts, or were they just kind of watching? You started getting calls like, "Hey, I saw what you were doing. Let's talk about it."
It's crazy because I've been doing this for over a full year now, and
it's a long time.
I've got over 3,000 friends on Facebook, and it always has puzzled me for a really long time. Like, where the heck is everyone? Like, where are all my friends? Why do they not want to do this? And I mean, the social media presence, I think, made it seem more professional for a lot of these people. And they started seeing more new faces, except for, me just sharing posts about myself from, the Southeast page or whatever, because at the time we didn't have anything ourselves. So when others started seeing a lot more people coming in, I think that opened their eyes. And, one thing we started doing after a while was, not only waiting for people to reach out, but also to start going at them, because sometimes people are just uncomfortable reaching out to you. And I've got a good buddy that my little brother is good friends with. And I reached out one day. I said, "Hey, dude, you should do this." And he's like, "Okay, yeah, I've been thinking about it for a long time." I'm like, "Well, why haven't you not messaged me about it?" Yeah. And another example, my cousin, he's a teacher, 8th grade teacher. And we're hanging out a couple of weeks ago, and he's talking about how he's like, "I'm looking for a part-time job this summer. I can do summer school, but it's only going to pay me like $3,000 for the summer." I'm like, "Dude, are you serious? Like, get your life insurance license. Like, what are you waiting for?" It's like, "Yeah, I should do that." So I just think getting uncomfortable in my shoes as well. We're used to getting all these no's selling insurance, but for some reason I was tripped up about getting no's from people about getting into the business. So getting over that was a big thing.
Okay. What does that conversation sound like when you're reaching out to people in warm market? Like, how do you approach them? I know they're not all, "Hey, you should do this." Okay. So how do you initiate that conversation?
I think one thing we tried doing recently is, for a while, Wayne, we were just kind of sending a message, just, "Hey, I'm in the insurance industry, deposited over $400,000 last year, my first year in this business. Have you ever thought about doing sales?" That's the approach we were taking. It wasn't a bad way to go about it. We're getting decent results, but we learned something from, I think it was Nina. And yeah, she does a little bit more research. And I know warm market, cold market, I don't think it's too much different actually from what we're doing. It's knowing the person is easier for you to approach them, but it's just small talk a little bit about what they're currently doing and how they like it.
Okay.
And based on their answer to that, I mean, if they say they hate their job, they're looking for something different. Like, they literally just walked into a perfect opportunity for you to be like, "Hey, yeah, you should check out what we do."
Yeah. And then you also talked about headhunting. I'm assuming that you're talking about social media there as well, for the most part. Is that something that you're doing or your recruiters are doing?
My recruiters are doing it, through my socials, through my Instagram, through my Facebook. But that's just as simple as just finding a niche of people and just mass adding them, mass following them. Anyone who follows you back, shooting them a message. Anybody who adds you back on Facebook, shooting them a message, and going from there.
I don't know, man. This all seems way too complicated. I think I don't know. It's just like you make it sound so simple, but again, you're about to double again in a couple of months. So now you kind of took 4 months, what you used to do in 4 months, and made it. What are we going into May? Made it 3 months, which is kind of amazing. So on the building side, now you're warm market too, right? Your Ty's warm market.
Correct.
I think you said. And you said it took him about 30 days to get you in. What was your reservation, and what did he have to overcome to actually get you to commit to the business?
No, it took him about 6 months before I finally jumped in.
6 months. Okay. I thought you said, I don't know where I got 30 days from.
No, I think, actually, I know what finally got me to jump in was his personal production. He was I'll say it to his face. He was part-time as all heck for the first year he was in this business. It was his full-time job, but he was not working it full-time. And I think in the month of January in 2020 is when he went out and he sold like $40,000 life volume and had an annuity. And that's when I finally made the jump. So, that's similar to, in my shoes now, a lot of people that I have on board, there's no way they'd be here if I wasn't, leading from the front and issuing a good amount of insurance every month consistently.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. I think if a lot of people, what a lot of people can kind of take away from this, and then we'll open it up to questions, and just correct me if I'm wrong or add anything that you will, is that it's really about the activity, just doing the things consistently over the course of, you basically said 30 days, and in that 45, 60-day period, you'll start to see the results. And the rest will take care of itself. And then it turns into instant gratification, because if you do it consistently, that the stuff that you did 45 days ago that you never stopped continues to kind of trickle in. So it's pretty cut and dry to me. So I'll just open it up to any questions. If you have a few minutes to stick around and answer some questions that people have specifically for you and about you.
All right, I'll start with the first one, if you don't mind. Kevin, I wanted to know, everybody's screaming weekend warrior. I know you waving that flag and you leading by example. So what does it mean to you? Why weekends?
It's the best time to meet with people, man.
Tell us some of the results, because when I look at your numbers and you posting it, all over social media on Monday morning or Sunday night, I'm like, whoa, I'm about to jump out and go back in the field, which I'm straight up going to do in a couple of weeks, getting back, because I'm you one of the people that actually motivated me to go back in it, and you work weekends. So numbers speak, but can you give us a little bit of psychology? Like, why is it, like when you're out in the field during the weekend, what does that look, what does it look like?
It took me a while to finally comfortably work the weekends the way I do. There's no denying that fact. I got to a point in my business where I wasn't hitting the numbers I wanted to, and it just was a matter of working a little bit harder on the weekend. That's where it started. And it's, first of all, it allows me my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I need to kind of cool off and get back to growing the business a little bit, spend more time with my staff, and just getting that big head start is huge mentally, right? And I don't know, I love it. It's addicting. It's fun. I want to be the first one to get 20 grand for the week. I'm competitive, and it, I don't know.
That's amazing. All right, good stuff. All right, guys, who else got questions for Evan when he says, okay, Kimber, go ahead, but I'll say this, when you say cool off and talk to my staff, I'm looking at you and it's crazy. Makes me think, just recently one lady emailed us saying, hey, please hire me. I'm good at customer service. I'm gonna make you proud. She's like, just show me the ropes. I've been in insurance before. All I'm seeing on the YouTube is a bunch of kids, selling a ton of insurance, but I'm better than them. So and I'm like, wow, staff and everything. But Evan, you're killing it, man. So anyways, Kimber, go ahead with your question.
What would you say biggest tool to your success?
The biggest tool to my success, if we're going to go personal production side, I'm going to say as simple as just being consistent and buying more leads than probably 99% of people.
Okay.
I know that's a short and sweet answer, but that's when I look back at my success from when I started, it was, I made a commitment that every single dial day I was going to spend. Back then it was $1,000 for every single dial day. And it did not matter the success I had the week before. I'm staying true to that. And, when you do the math and you break it down, that's $8,000 a month, which sounds like a lot of money to most people, especially if you're new to this business. It's like, what? That's insane, right? But that translated into issuing 20 to 30,000 a month, no doubt about it, because it was the consistency of just week in, week out doing that. And then to get to the level where I'm at now, I just looked at it, I looked back at it, and I literally just doubled my lead flow.
Cool.
That's good. Just buy leads. Craig, go ahead.
What do you do, Evan? First of all, thanks for being here, man. What do you do when you get a new hire, whether it's licensed or non-licensed? What do you do to begin your engagement and keep them interested throughout the process, while they're either getting contracted or licensed? Because it doesn't seem like you have a lot of turnover, and that's pretty impressive.
That's something we're still trying to figure out every day, to be honest with you on that. But, we have a drip system with, we get all their information, their phone number, their email. It's in a spreadsheet. Every day, essentially, we have something going out to everyone via email or via text, whether it's a team call, whether it's a leaderboard, whether it's an update on a sales training, if it's a podcast or YouTube video, for whatever the case is, they're just constantly getting touched by the recruiters and by the staff. And if that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And they also keep, very organized, basically where that agent was last. And if they haven't moved in a day, really, if they haven't moved in a day, they're getting messaged, hey, is everything okay? What can we do to help?
Gotcha.
And that was something when I first started trying to build, I remember trying to do that myself. And there was no way in heck I was going to try to sell, 50 grand a month and incorporate that. I just couldn't do it.
That's kind of where I'm stuck. I didn't refocus all my efforts to recruiting, but I've tried to go, heavily in that direction, and it's hard.
It is.
Very cool. I appreciate you.
Seven things, Craig. Anybody have any more questions? If you do, go ahead and unmute yourself. Use this opportunity.
How much do travel trips help you out into building that?
I do at least 2 weekend travel trips a month. And yep.
Seems like we will kind of disconnect.
Evan, are you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm there.
All right, so you did couple travel trips a month, and well, obviously that's where the numbers come from. And but anyways, if you wanted to add anything.
No, I just think that's huge. I would not be able to sell. I mean, I don't think top producers can sell $50,000 to $60,000 a month in their backyard. I mean, you can maybe do 20 grand a month, but if you're okay with that, awesome. But as soon as you're willing to get out there a little bit, whether it's drive 4 hours, drive 6 hours, that's typically my range. About six to 8 is the longest I'll drive. I'll dial, like today, I dialed right at 8 o'clock.
And what state are you in?
I'm in Wisconsin. And, I got some stuff to do at the office, and I should be out of here by 4 or 5 o'clock after I pack, and I'm headed out 4.5 hours, and I'll be there till Sunday. Got about 25 appointments on the book so far.
That's awesome. I've travel trips are awesome. I've been on the planes plenty, talking to a whole bunch of different people. A lot of them were salespeople that would travel four times a month, for a couple days each travel trip, but they would be earning $60,000 to $80,000 a year, and they would still travel so much. And to me, it was like, we making so much money here, and like, what, traveling is like a no-brainer. Some people traveling all year long for 80,000 a year, and we get to travel and make triple, quadruple of that. So, I mean, yeah, anybody that's flexible and can absolutely should, without a doubt. But Leah, I think you have your next question here.
Yeah, in terms of setting appointments for a travel trip, you're calling like and setting it up before you go, or do you do any calling when you get there?
Yeah, for sure. So I've tried it both ways. The way I would prefer to travel is to, and also, because a lot of traveling I did was during the winter time from Chicago, I would never wanted to have a dialed in, then go. I mean, if I knew the weather will be good, I'd probably do that. But typically I would like to get there because there's less distractions. So if I'm going for the travel trip, what I'm doing is I'm basically dialing Thursday for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then I'm picking up, reschedules and some people that couldn't meet during the weekend on Monday, and I'm taking the last flight going out of the location. So I would have, because, and also like outside of just the weather, if you dial, personally, I don't know, if you dial here, there's still things that will distract you on the dial day. When I'm traveling, I'm trying to eliminate any and all distractions. So if I'm dialing from the hotel room, I can stay and dial till 9 solid. If I'm dialing from the office, it's not like I can't do it. I've done it many times, but there's always something's going to come up, and it's going to be like, oh, I got to leave early, but I can't afford to miss this last 2 hours between 7 and 9. And believe me, my wife would always find a reason for me to get home, and tell me, hey, there's an emergency, and she'll get me home at whatever cost. But I can't get distracted before the travel trip. Those last 2 hours are important because I get to text people, I get to do a lot and maximize and run up the score basically. So, but I hope that's good, and we're gonna be respectful of Evan's time, and we're gonna move on to the next question. I hope that's helpful, Leah. Great.
One more follow-up. If you're traveling out of an area, you obviously don't want to go back to a customer's house too many times. How do you handle objections that say come back in 2-3 weeks? Do you just tell them that you're not from the area and you're not coming back?
If they tell me to come back, I'm never getting back in that house, and it's a no. That's my opinion on it. Yeah, I honestly, I mean, I've been running 30 to 40 appointments a week for a solid year now, and I think I can think of the one time where someone wanted me to come back, or that was going to call me back after they thought about it, where I actually went back and helped them with insurance. I would say if that's the case, you got to just push a little bit harder, dig in a little bit. We're gonna send in the application for approval today. That's what we're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll put my 2 cents into. I would not necessarily tell people in Texas that I'm from Chicago and there's physically no way I can come back. I'm trying to save that, because some people don't like to do business with people that are not local. So, and most of the people are cool with that. And that's actually, they're like, oh, wow, I have my insurance guy lives in Chicago and I'm here in Texas. They find it to be very cool. But, but some people are not. And I actually, I came across that. That's why I'm trying to save that. But if anything, I'm like saying, hey, I can't do it. I'm not going to be here. They're sending me here once a month only. So, and I know it's anything can happen in 1 month, but anyways, we have a question from Eric here for you, Evan, is what did you do before you had a staff member to produce? I'm not sure what
I'm sorry. Hi, this is Dion. That was my question, actually. What I was trying to say is what did you do before you had a staff member, Evans? And what was your mindset to determine that you were gonna, make this?
We couldn't really hear you, Dion.
Okay, you can't. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I was asking, what did he do before he had a staff member? And what was his mindset like that he was going to be successful with this? He was going to make this work.
On the building side or selling?
On the building side, well, both. I mean, just like, what was your mindset? Where were you at when you just said, hey, I'm going to do this. You know where I'm at and what I want to do. So I was just asking, what was your mindset? And, you know, what was your mindset and say, hey, before I get the staff member, I'm going to do this and where were you at mentally when you determined that? What was going on? If you could answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I made whenever I came into the business, I wanted to build an agency. And I had this ego of like, I thought I could do it myself and that I could market it myself. I could hire people myself. I could message people throughout the day while I'm running appointments. I could do that all myself. And that's just not how it worked out for me. And the mindset was, I knew I wasn't too uncomfortable getting staff because I know that as long as I'm consistent with my schedule, that I'm going to be able to fund everything and keep the ball rolling. Does that make it, if that answers your question at all?
Yeah, it did. Thanks a lot, man. Good seeing you too, bro.
Thanks.
All right. I think we got time for just one more here. Anybody? If not, all good. We're going to wrap it up. Anyone?
One question.
What's up, Justin?
Hey, Evan, could you just talk to us a little bit about what your lead flow looks like? What kind of leads are you buying? I mean, those are just ginormous numbers. So I'm really curious. I know you run a ton of appointments too, but you know, what kind of leads are you buying to get those kind of numbers?
Evan, you're muted, man. Can you mute yourself?
Sorry about that. I'm typically at about, 2/3 of my lead flow is mailers, whether it's mortgage or final expense. When I first started, I was running all, Facebook final expense, and nowadays I'd just be doing the new internet instance. But, on a day like today, I was able to get, about 15 booked off of my mailers. And then I went in and I scooped up some new internet to supplement. That way I can fill in the gaps this weekend. And, last week, I think a little over 10,000 of my submit was off of new internet instance out of the CRM that I just scooped up to just supplement with my lead flow. If I ever don't have enough coming in, I'm just going and getting internets, just buying more.